Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tyler, and welcome to JS Cinema Productions channel. In this episode, we're going behind the scenes with our commercial shoot with Cardinal Artworks in Pennsylvania. I just got the car packed. Molly girl is getting ready to go off to boarding, and then we're going from New York to Pennsylvania, and we're going to spend the weekend doing that shoot. We're going to be doing kind of a commercial for their company and a YouTube video intro for their YouTube channel that they're going to be starting. So welcome to the journey as we go do this, and I hope that you learn something and or find it entertaining. Before we begin, I just want to comment that yes, I cut my hair. I'm going thinning. Like, my hair's going to start thinning on the top, and it's really annoying. So I cut it to see how I look with my hair really short. I might go bald, but we're gonna fix that with a JS Cinema hat so that nobody has to see my ugly bald head. All right, I'll catch up with you later. We're just going to go drop Molly off at her doggy hotel. All right, bye. All right, we arrived. That was not a fun trip. It's snowing and the roads are all slush, and I went through 2 entire bottles of windshield washer fluid. Oh, man. I am glad to be here. It wasn't a long drive, but man, I just couldn't see out of my window. Semi-trucks, lifted trucks with no mud flaps, and just spray in my windshield the entire time. I don't know where everybody's going this weekend, but I hope you get there safe, because it seemed like there were a bajillion cars on 90 and 79 South. But we're here in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to unload the car and go inside and say hello, and I'll be back with you in just a little bit. All right, so we're just getting ready to start filming, and I'm here with Christina, and Christina is actually my mother, so it's weird calling her Christina, but for your sake, you should know, and she's one of the owners of Cardinal Artworks here in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. She is just doing some dishes, getting the kitchen, which is our set for today, one of our sets for today, getting it all prepared and clean so it doesn't look like a house? like a house on camera once we start recording. So that's what's going on over here, and I am going to be setting up the drone, the Mavic, and I'm going to be putting an ND filter on it because it is super bright outside, and we want to do a transition shot from inside to outside. And how we're going to do that is we're going to have the drone in here, and somebody is going to be in that corner right there, and they're going to have the door open, and we're going to fly the drone backwards outside and up, and then in post-production we'll reverse it so that when it comes in, the door opens and lets the drone in and reveals the kitchen, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to do that before we get everything else set up, because we don't want light stands and all sorts of other stuff in the way. So the drone is the first order of business, so I'm going to get that set up. We're going to get going. That was absolutely terrifying. I had to turn off all the safety features on the drone to get it so that it wouldn't stop in the middle of the house when we were trying to fly it out and thread it through that little door. But we did good, and our door closer was Scott. He's the other owner for Cardinal Artworks. I refer to him as Dad, but you may call him Scott. So now we're gonna move everything out, we're gonna get all the lighting set up, and we're gonna film everything else. So without further ado, enjoy the time lapse.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Christina.
Welcome to Cardinal Artworks.
So we're done with the shot, so we're eating the props.
Those cookies are so good.
So we're down here in the downstairs in the craft station, if you will, and we're doing some sublimation. And I've changed out the gimbal for this 90mm macro lens and the handheld camera rig so I can get up close and personal. And we're not being super technical about the lighting down here because with this macro lens you need as much lighting as you possibly can get. So that's where we're at. And what is it that we're making?
We are making Sanitizer keychain holders, which are my giveaways, so everybody who places an order with us gets a keychain. I try to make them for the different seasons, and St. Patrick's Day is coming up. These are a couple that went out with my winter orders: snowflakes, stars, and gnomes.
Cool. And as far as the camera goes, we're running currently f9 ISO 640. All right, so we just did the sublimation, and now we're gonna do a mug press, which is this machine right here. It's gotta warm up, it's gotta be very hot, so I'm not gonna touch. So we moved the Aperture 300D a little bit closer for our key light. We're gonna be filming from the other side, and we've got this reflector sitting up here is a little bit of a bounce, and it's we're doing, our key is what our white balance is going to be set to, which is daylight. And then for contrast, so that everything is not just one color, we're using this, and we've switched back to the 50mm lens, which just does everything all around rather well. And the Atmos recorder chugging away. I did buy a new hard drive. This one's a 2 terabyte, so I've got plenty of recording room. But I tell you what, this handle and this side handle here is just amazing for handheld shooting. If I'm not doing a lot of walking around, this is how I prefer to do my rig. So explain to us how this works with the mug printing.
So this is a sublimation, well actually this is not a sublimation printer. This is an Epson EcoTank 15,000, which I converted into a sublimation printer. And I did that basically by not putting the ink in that came with it and putting sublimation ink in it instead. So first thing I have to do is I need to print an image that I want to put on my tumbler, which I have done. Sublimation is transferred. It's an ink, excuse me. It's an ink that turns into a gas, and that gas permeates into the finish of the tumblers or whatever substrate you're using, and it essentially becomes one. It just soaks right into it and becomes permanent.
All right, we did a little bit in the wood shop, and now we are doing the last thing, is the embroidery machine, which is taking place in there. They're just getting ready. I put the aperture in there, and we're gonna shoot with the macro lens, get that done, and then we're gonna take a break, and either sometime today or tomorrow, we're gonna do a little bit of an interview with both of them for the commercial. All right, we're actually on day 2, and today we're doing an interview for the second video that we're doing, more of a business overview video, kind of a commercial. So I just briefly wanted to touch on our set and our light. We're using our Aperture 300D as our key light with the egg crate, and that's coming down onto our set here. We've also got hidden the Sony audio recorder here. It's not visible on camera, but that way we get really nice audio and we don't have to hook lapel mics to anybody. We've got a little bit of fill coming off the tungsten colored reflector just to get less shadows and a little bit better contrast. We closed off these windows so that we're not getting two competing daylight sources. And then we've got another tungsten balanced hair light up there with the GVM light. And then you'll notice back here on the floor, we've got another light casting some blue, and that's gonna give us a little more contrast in the final image. That way it's not just white wall, white shirt, white product. We've got a little bit of contrast going back and forth. We're gonna be using the 50mm lens with our backup audio, the Rode wireless microphone, and we're basically just doing a question and answer, kind of a business overview video, and then we're gonna throw that all together, and that'll be in the final edit, so stick around. We just finished up our final scene, kind of the closing of the video, and we were just looking at it on the Atmos monitor, which was one of the nice things about this, is the client can actually see the video with kind of a LUT over top of it, so that they get a rough idea of how it turned out. So what do you guys think of today? How do you think it went? Do you have any idea?
I don't think I have much of a career in acting.
I think it's just fun. We need to see edited.
I'm excited to show you when it's done, because you're having a hard time understanding what a voiceover is and how it's going to look with the footage. So I'm excited to see how you react when it's finally done.
Do you think the camera's going to have added anyway?
I'm not that great with special effects, so. So for this last setup, we're just bouncing a daylight off of the tungsten reflector to get a tungsten fill, and then obviously the Aperture 300D, which is quite amazing. I think I probably should have gone with this less diffusion. Instead of, this is about a 2.5 stop diffusion, I probably should have gone with the lesser of the diffusion, because I found myself needing more light more often. But we made do, because the Sony a7S III is a beast when it comes to low light. So I'm gonna jump on the computer and start taking a look at the footage. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. All right, stick around for the final reveal.
Hi, I'm Christina.
And I'm Scott.
We're the Slatteries, and we own Cardinal Artworks. Cardinal Artworks is a compilation of a variety of different crafts and art. Just before the pandemic hit in 2020, Scott was putting all of his images online. I was starting to put some of my, stuff together, and we had to come up with a name for our business. And we both love cardinals. We truly believe that when a cardinal is near, it's a visitor from heaven.
So we'd been doing photography for quite a long time, and the thing that really drove us to start with was to get a website going where we could sell some of the photography that we have from the past 10, 15, 20 years. That kind of blossomed into Chris starting to make some of the sublimation products and putting the photography on those. Like this piece of slate that's got one of our images on it from quite a while ago. So we continued to kind of branch out, and she started doing mugs and the different size tumblers, the mantle clock, and on top of that I continued to do a lot of the woodworking that I've been doing for decades, and starting to look at doing some of that stuff to sell also.
But eventually I would possibly like to get into providing t-shirts. It's right now a very oversaturated market, so we haven't approached that yet. I am recently getting into the embroidery and into sewing. I would love to be able to make gorgeous quilts.
So some of the proudest accomplishments, I think, one is just getting the business off the ground to start with. That's always a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people think that, you just start this business and you start selling stuff right away. But really, there's a lot to it. There's not only the arts and crafts side of it and having to take the time to make something that somebody's going to want to purchase, but also then you have to get that delivered to them somehow. You have to let people see it in order to know what they want and actually buy it. Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Christina.
Welcome to Cardinal Artworks.